So I've got a quick little video here that's a little different than my usual routine of philosophy or, classical literature analyses. But I was watching Shadiversity's video here, as you can see, about some show called Attack on Titan, and he was discussing the practicality of the weapons within. Now, I don't watch Attack on Titan, it's not my cup of tea, and if it is yours, congrats. So forgive me if I say anything that's wrong about it. But with that said, I'm actually critiquing his critique of the weapons on here, as he doesn't think that they're very practical, and I actually argue these blades are pretty damn practical, especially for what they're supposedly fighting. Yes, this would be an impractical weapon if you're fighting one-on-one, or even if you're fighting in a typical war that you would see in the Middle Ages, but this is a weapon that was designed to fight and kill, apparently, like several hundred feet giants. So when you're fighting several hundred feet giants and you've got repelling type equipment that can pull you towards the actual person, you kind of want this segmented blade, in my opinion. Now, he compared it to a box cutter, and, well, no offense to Shad or anybody else on here, I come from the trades, and he's thinking about a regular cheap dollar store box cutter that most people buy, where they're cheap, they break, they snap even when you're cutting downwards. But if you get a good one, and I mean an actual good one, within the trades, you use what are quite often Olfa knives, or at least in Canada. They're best brand of knives you can get for when it comes to utility knives. I'll actually even bring up their... Oh, good. I'll bring up their site. Like right here down to these utility knives. Come on, load faster. This computer is not the fastest in the world. Here's a good one on here. This one here is used quite often inside of the trades. It's got a locking mechanism to hold it in place, and you quite often with these knives, even though the manufacturer doesn't recommend it, Shad says that with a normal box cutters, this is true. You only pull up to the first length of the blade. In the trades, however, you're never... Sure, I shouldn't say never. You are rarely ever doing that. Most of the time, you've pulled it up to about halfway out, at least. The reason for this is because considering sometimes you need to bend the blade in order to get the proper angle on a cut, and other times as well, you just need more of the raw cutting power. With this is actually a good steel of a blade. Yes, the blade chips very easily, as he even describes. This type of knife has a very hard sharp, is very sharp, and it breaks easily within the actual edge. The physical blade doesn't break that easy, but the actual edges do. Now, that's not why this weapon's impractical. Why this weapon is practical is because if you are slingshotting towards a giant, a creature, you want to be able to get this blade into him, make that cut, and if need be, so it doesn't tear your arm out of your socket as you're going, if it jams in something, that you can actually snap it by turning these blades to the side. When you are cutting with the edge on these, they don't break very easily. You have to either A, really unlucky, or B, you have to put a ton of force in order to snap it when you are cutting with the blade. Now, if you put any pressure towards the sides of it, it snaps off. So if you get this blade stuck inside of a giant, you could theoretically, using your momentum, turn the blade, or try to turn the blade to its side, or re-angle yourself, use your repelling thing that you have to move yourself to the side to snap the blade out of the giant. You may have a smaller blade, but now this keeps you alive, and it allows you to keep going, I'll bet with a smaller blade. The other thing that you can do is, these blades are pretty easy to snap along the sides. You can, if your blade has chipped and is no longer usable, you can still keep going in the fight by just breaking the tip against a rock. And now you have a sharp point and a sharp edge on a new piece that you can then keep going. Yes, he is absolutely correct when he says it's going to snap a lot more than it would if you just have a controlled cut where you're just breaking off the tip. But you're better off to live, deal a shit ton of damage, or at least have the blades stuck inside of them, where you can get another weapon and continue to fight, rather than tear your arm out of your socket using your own momentum because it jabs into a giant's bone. Or worse, you're stuck, you're trying to pull your blade out, and a giant grabs you and just eats you. This way, you can actually get out. And that's my argument that I actually think this weapon is incredibly practical for the creature that they're fighting. Chad, if you're watching this, I would be glad to hear any comments from you guys. And if you guys haven't subscribed to Shadiversity, I recommend you actually subscribe to him. He's got a nice little channel on there. I say little, but again, I'm recommending, go my 5 subscribers, go subscribe to this guy for 734,000. But with that, guys, I'll get back to my regular content, and I should have the next Iliad recorded later tonight, and hopefully I'll have it uploaded for you guys. If not, it'll be uploaded tomorrow. With that, I wish everyone the best. Take care.